The following episode of the Comics and Crypto podcast is for informational purposes only, and anything expressed by the hosts or their guests is solely their opinion. This podcast does not constitute financial advice, and anyone wishing to invest should seek their own independent financial or professional help. Have fun and enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Sean O'Hare, and I know comics.
Hi, I'm Spencer Vogel, and I know crypto.
Hi, I'm Kevin Lee Loader, and I don't know shit. This is the Comics and Crypto podcast.
Comics and crypto, crypto and comics, collectors world in a digital age. Comics and crypto, crypto and comics is where the next billionaires will be made. It's comics and crypto.
What is up, VeVe fam? Thanks so much for joining us today. We are here with the amazing VeVeMagic and Metaverselyfe. So today,
yeah, he's here too. Yeah. Hi, Ross. Well deserved. Well deserved.
If y'all don't know, Metaverselyfe is a massive, massive Disney fan, like everybody in this group chat except for Spencer.
I've seen the movies,
but he knows utility. He knows utility.
I know the crypto stuff.
So the purpose of today's video is to talk about these Disney collectibles on VeVe and why we believe they need utility. VeVeMagic, why do you believe they need utility?
For sustainability. If you want to make your product last and be worthwhile and have long-term value, then you have to create value and create a reason for people to want to collect and hold these items. They're still great collectibles and they still mean something, especially since a lot of these are the first NFTs that have ever been created by Disney. But the more you add to them and make them worthwhile, the more valuable they're going to become and the more historical they're going to become.
I have a question for you guys. So why do you think it is that these digital items need utility, whereas physical collectibles do not?
I don't think that's necessarily the belief. I think that physical collectibles should also have utility, and some do, but like the digital NFTs have been something that we would hope would be something that we can utilize in the real world, in Disney parks, in Disney experiences. And it's something that we're already currently experiencing with technology and AR, as we have seen in the Remembering TV show, but it's not something that's tied to a physical collectible or a digital collectible that we currently have. So for the long-lasting value, as VeVeMagic put, we need utility to be tied to these collectibles, especially for people that are onboarding into this space who are looking to be a part of the growth. I think there needs to be additional inspiration for them to get involved to continue to grow the market.
I feel like these aren't just digital collectibles. I feel like they're going to be experiential. I mean, we all sort of have the belief we're seeing where Disney's going with AR and metaverse and all this stuff. I mean, they're creating teams to focus in on the new tech and NFTs and the technology behind the NFTs. And, you know, they just came out with this video about their PhotoPass services are going to the next level. And I in my mind, I see how like our NFTs could be down the road, not even the too distant future, incorporated into these, you know, PhotoPass experiences. And so, you know, I view them more as assets, digital assets, than I do collectibles. Like I see physical collectibles and these very differently. I see them more as almost, you know, I compare them to the types of utility I see a pass holder, the types of utility I see in being a Disney Vacation Club member, the types of utility I see in being a Disney Visa credit card holder. I think that owning these digital assets falls right in line with those types of things more so than actually just being a collectible.
And the big thing about collectibles, physical collectibles, is the historical value, right? I mean, if somebody had Walt Disney's actual pen that he used in his office, that would be worth a lot of money because Walt Disney actually used that pen in his office for probably quite some time. But these digital collectibles are a representation of IP. That still makes them valuable, but there's not really much historical value. There's definitely some nostalgia that's connected to these characters. But like comic books, right? Like the physical comic books, those are worth a lot of money. The comic books on VeVe are digital counterparts of those physicals. Our good friend of the podcast, Dan Chabelle, says quite often, you know, these comic books, these digital comic books are valuable because the physical comic books already did all the legwork for the past 60, 70 years. But these statues are different. They're different because they're just representation of the IP. So I think and I believe that over time, we're definitely going to need to see some utility if we want to see these things reach levels that we believe they can go. You know, it's interesting. One of the most famous spec plays is the Disney Wall statue, you know, potentially giving out passes for Disney parks. So let's say, hypothetically, I love this spec play. I know a lot of people are tired of hearing it, but I still like to say it because it's still possible. But let's say like the Walt Disney statue has 4,333 NFTs. Let's say potentially each person actually owns one. And we know that's not the case because a lot of people own multiple, including Dr. Profit. But if each person had one and each person was given a season pass, top tier one is about $1,600. That would cost $6,932,800. So we'll say that does happen, and people not only get a season pass for the park, but we'll say they get access to the park worldwide. That'd be amazing, right? So let's say that would raise the collectible up to a ridiculous high, like $100,000, which isn't inconceivable for this kind of IP. The floor was $100,000. They would get $6,000 for every commission sale. It would only need 1,166 transactions to make up for that season pass.
Wow.
For the entire year. I mean, that was like, if this kind of marketing happens, you can only imagine the kind of people that would get involved in this. There would be a lot of sales, but to even make up for that, they could add red team to these collectibles to make even more money. So as a business, it makes total sense. And that doesn't even count for the amount of money they're probably making in marketing alone, the kind of exposure that they're bringing to these NFTs. And that's why it's so important.
It's so much upside.
There's so much upside.
There's so much upside. I mean, I have a hard time seeing any downside. When I did the tour of Disney Studios, those buildings now are basically, for the most part, all legal. Like, legal is a huge part of Disney. I understand that there's a lot of red tape, a lot of things that, once it's written, it's hard to change, but it's not impossible. and moving forward is certainly not impossible. And, it's just, you have to have that compelling story. And I mean, just those statistics you threw out are incredible, because that's just like 1 year, Yeah. It's something that can be forever, and people are going to be buying, selling, trading, and then renting. I mean, there's just no downside.
And you think that they would want to make Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse FAs the most valuable, it's just a flex, like having Walt Disney as one of the most valuable NFTs. I think that'd be very important, in my opinion.
So I have a question. What do you think is a realistic utility to be tied to these digital collectibles? What do you think is something that is feasible for mass adoption?
I think something that they could do pretty easily with like geolocation is at the parks. If you own a certain collectible and you show up to a certain area in the park, you get rewarded in some way. So, you get some kind of an AR experience that people who don't own the collectible get access to. Or maybe you get to ride on a ride that other people don't get to ride on, or, something like that. But I think using geolocation, I think there's a lot of really cool things you can do with it that's actually a realistic, utility.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, now they have the Magic Band Plus. I'm going to be trying it out in just over a week from now, where you have your Magic Band, but now it interacts with the Golden Moment statues. It interacts with certain shows. We're getting them. They've been in Florida for a bit now, a little less than a year, I want to say, but we're getting them very shortly at Disneyland, and it will interact with like the World of Color show. So like you will have like
cool. Oh wow.
And you will have like your Magic Band doing like color syncing. I mean, you see, it's just so closely knit and tied together that it just seems like just such a natural progression that we would then move to these NFTs, because that's just where everything is going. And I was pumped to see that Disneyland's getting the Magic Bands, because those have been at Disney World for years. The Magic Band Plus is relatively new, but I'm hopeful that this Magic Band Plus will work with some of the little statues we have here as well on our side. But yeah, it's all sort of segueing so nicely and neatly into where we want it to go. So just it just makes sense that they would sort of look into that.
It's such a miss if they don't tie these NFTs into the park, right? I mean, you have exposure. What you want to do, it makes total sense. If you want to market to people who don't understand Web3, you don't understand NFTs, what do? You create utility that's tied to the things that they already understand, that they already love. What's that? There's nothing more powerful than the Disneyland parks. There's a lot of other things too, of course. But I mean, that's one of the most important.
And Disney's all about the experiences. That's the whole thing. And this is another extension of that. It's a whole nother experience that people get to enjoy. So I can definitely see them going into this.
Yeah, we just need to get them to understand that these aren't just collectibles, or, they're not just NFTs. They're assets that can do so much more for them.
And now a word from our sponsor. Looking to buy or sell physical comics? Then check out Elite Comics 11, Instagram's #1 community-powered comics sales page. Elite Comics 11 is our favorite place to safely buy and sell comics. They are a CGC and CBCS authorized dealer and sell a variety of comics, from Silver Age Grails to modern day keys. Inventory is updated daily, and don't forget to check out their incredible, almost daily live stream comic sales. The next time you're looking to buy or sell physical comics, make sure you turn to Elite Comics 11. Follow at elite_comics11 on Instagram and see what all the buzz is about.
Outside of the kind of like in-person park experiences, I think there's also a lot of room for them to integrate these collectibles into like the entertainment and video experiences. So, for example, like a streaming show on Disney Plus, you could have a unique experience because you own a certain collectible that wasn't possible for people who didn't have it. So like you get like a gated like post-credit scene that people otherwise wouldn't get access to, or maybe the TV show you're watching pauses and then your VeVe collectible pops out of the screen in AR and you can play some kind of a mini game within the TV show. I mean, there's a million things that you can do with it in that respect too, just because it's all digital. But I think there's a lot they can do there as well.
To go off that, that's what I've seen more and more with kind of everything is exclusivity. Like everything is becoming about exclusivity, and if you're a member of something, or if you have something, that gains you access to stuff. I mean, even YouTube now, you can have members and you can create videos just for members and do things just for them. Because they are, paying a premium to have direct access to you. I mean, the same goes with streaming services. You can have commercial free, and that's going to get you some sort of access that other people can't have because they're not paying for it. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just everything is leading this way where you pay for something or you buy something and you get stuff with it.
Do you feel like they're already thinking these things, but they're just trying to figure it out?
They're definitely thinking about these things. And you see them, like they're dropping breadcrumbs. Like I think, like for example, with the AR remembering video that they put out recently, I think that's like a clear indication of what's to come, for example.
And also them hiring the NFT lawyer. Like they were looking for a legal representation to specifically handle NFTs. So we know that like we're heading that direction.
VeVeMagic, you posted the videos that you've created with the AR, the bracelets. That's incredible.
Yeah, and the magnet, like they just I had seen it in Florida prior. It's like Florida's always a little bit ahead of the game in California, but they now have these magnets that you get if you're a pass holder. They send it to you in the mail, and then you can interact with it via an app, and it brings it to life.
I've brought this up a few times on past podcast episodes, but I remember when Kevin and Roth and I were at Disneyland back in 2021, and we were walking around. The Superman drop just happened, and we each got a Superman, and then we walked into the Disney park. I remember it was June 15th, 2021, because the lift of the Maps mandate. That day, literally the day of, we booked. It was pure coincidence. It was amazing. So we got to walk around the park with no mask on, which was wild after a year and a half of walking around with masks on. Yeah. So we walk inside, and NFTs on the mind, of course. We walk over to It's a Small World, and there was nobody in line for It's a Small World. And I'm talking to Roth and Kevin, we're like, guys, what if they did, like Spencer mentioned earlier, geolocation? They did NFT drops for people who come to this ride. The advantage, the perk is that you get specific collectibles if you come and enjoy this experience in person. That's really special, and that would incentivize people to go on rides. If you own the Golden Moments, potentially, you get a different kind of collectibles. So more rare ones, potentially, different variants.
True.
I want to go back to something that Spencer was saying. The question that you had about, do you think that Disney is thinking about this stuff and looking into it and the utility and all that? And those were all great responses. And I do want to say that I believe, I don't know for a fact, but I believe VeVe is also very strongly pushing the agenda and that forward as well, and really trying to bring to light, like, you guys need to understand, because they listen to us as a community and they know how badly we want it. And so I believe that VeVe is also really, really trying to push for this utility.
To add to your point, I think they also were huge contributors to ending the Golden Moments.
Yeah.
That was a really good point.
And it was like the first utility that we saw. I mean, there was something extra there, and I think we have them to thank for that.
VeVeMagic, I have to ask you a question. Well, let's say you have full control, the Golden Moment utility. What's your dream scenario here? And what would you like to see?
Well, there's a lot. I would like to see, I think the annual pass thing is a great idea. I'd love to see discounts. I'd love to see like the same kind of discounts you would get with the annual pass, say the top tier one, the same discounts apply. I'd like to see that also for vacations. You can give me a 10, 15% discount off going on a cruise or going to Alani or going to a different park hotel. That's super enticing to me. And then just sort of, things along the way, like, oh, we're going to do for everybody that has, the full Golden Moment set as a thank you for still holding that set for this, amount of time. We're going to drop you this or we're going to drop you that. Because we do know that there's more Golden Moments, right? And they're not doing it anymore in the series, but maybe there's an airdrop, for people that already have the full set. So, yeah. I'd like to see more collectibles, but I'd also like to see, perks and benefits of doing in-person things as well.
Especially for set holders.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's probably less than 1,000 people that have that entire set, probably way less than that.
I'd love to know that number.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun number to find out. But to add to your point, they already kind of have something like that, right? With the Disneyland credit cards. You get certain perks for having a credit card, spending money at Disneyland. So it should be a language they truly understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's so many different ways that if you subscribe to something that Disney puts out there, whether it be the credit card or Disney Plus or the Vacation Club, they're gonna get you perks and benefits of things. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I've almost gotten this credit card so many times. I'm kind of shocked I don't have it, honestly. But you have on both parks photo experiences that only you can do, and you have to show your credit card. And there's a block of like 3 or 4 hours a day where you get a special meet and greet and dedicated time and PhotoPass experience with whatever characters there. There's Star Wars Launch Bay. So I assume, I don't know because I don't have the credit card, but I assume maybe you meet Darth Vader. I mean, that's pretty cool. And then on the California Adventure side, the same thing. And then you have discounts throughout the park. You even have some discounts within Downtown Disney. And then another thing that I was looking at, it's discontinued right now. I don't know why. I don't know if they'll bring it back. But when I went on the website, it was offering, I can't remember if it was 10 or 15% off VIP tours. That's pretty cool. That's a really, really cool perk of having that credit card.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Nice. There you go.
That discount then gives you like the money to tip because like not everybody knows, but you should be also tipping your guide at the end of the day. But yeah, that savings, I mean, you can put straight towards that. But that's a great perk. Like that is more enticing for me to get that credit card because having experienced a VIP tour, it's really epic. And if you can just shave off some of that fee, yeah. But that's again what leads me so much into believing into this utility. It's like, I want to own it knowing that I will get all these things in return. The more I know I'm going to get or the more value I perceive, the more I want to have it. Like just reading that website today about the credit card and seeing all the perks, I want it more now because I understand the full potential and the full utility of owning that card.
Do you think people are going to feel that way if there's no utility to collectibles for the Golden Moment specifically? They're probably going to feel a lot less enticed to probably want to own them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even though the IP is amazing, they're fun collectibles.
Yeah. It's just going to take, I mean, over the long haul, I mean, it's certainly going to have its value. I mean, these are going to be historical pieces to own, but it's going to take a lot longer for them to appreciate and value if they don't have this utility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
So get on it, Disney.